Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I say back because I've already been here once today. To everybody's favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am your eternally gracious host, KSTB, and this is the podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, we drink the watered-down sodas, we talk about all of our favorite movies and why we love them. And you know what? We poo-poo on the co-host with the not so much most anymore because she was too good to be here with us tonight. So she can go watch her little freaking awards ceremony and we'll just have fun without her. And that's all I have to say about that. So no, Amanda's off watching the Oscars tonight, so she will not be with us. But we have another amazing sidekick to be here with me tonight so that we can talk about another amazing movie. But before we get to that, welcome back to the show. Papa Palpatine himself, Chris Cole, is with us.
Good to be back. This is my shortest turnaround. I think I was here, a couple weeks ago for whatever that was.
The anniversary?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes, An Evening at the Movies turned 4 years old.
I'm still waiting on that icon status.
And
just saying.
well, I mean, we could have done it that night. Wouldn't have been as
No, that would have been
meaningful.
stealing your thunder. No, I wouldn't have done that to you. I didn't even know what icon was. I'm a great guest. I'm a horrible listener. So I didn't know the icon thing was a thing. So I'm more yanking your chain than anything else.
Oh, I know you were.
But I'm absolutely going to claim owning 3 or 4 of the top ratings ever, like ways that I've rated movies on this show.
Oh, yeah. Well, and on top of it, you were a part of the most viewed episode in An Evening at the Movies history.
Ooh.
I don't think I may or may not have said that last week on the show. I don't remember, but the anniversary episode is our first episode that dipped into the waters of over 400 views. So
wow, that's awesome, man. That is outstanding. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. It's not as big as other independent shows do, but considering where we've come, where we were before doing the YouTube stuff,
mm-hmm.
and where we've gotten to now, it's definitely a slow build, but we're getting there.
That tells me I need to add video to my show. Just get off my butt and get it all set up.
It's really, I thought it was going to be way complicated. It's really not. So, but it is, it's fun. I love doing this shit, so it is what it is. And at the same time, we have to have a conversation with your Twinja because
right. We got to get on the Harry Potter, whatever the hell it is, Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, and her. Well,
and
I'm
finish The Hobbit.
Yes, that too.
We just need to do Desolation of Smaug and Battle of the Five Armies as one episode, because I think if you try to get us to do one for each, neither one of us is going to show up for Five Armies.
I won't show up for Five Armies in a fucking show. I'm not gonna lie. I love Middle Earth, but
that should have been a 2-parter.
Yeah,
that was a cash grab. That was a cash grab that was so big I thought it was Disney.
Yeah.
I should have saved that line for that episode. I'm still going to use it for that episode. I don't care. I'm gonna recycle it. I'm going to come back.
Hey, it works, and I can guarantee. Well, Jean probably isn't watching and or listening, so it'll be a surprise for her when you drop it.
Yeah, you right. You
So,
right. Have you seen
but
more of the
yes,
Rohirrim yet?
not yet.
It's out on
Max,
HBO Max now. It's worth it. It is worth the time to watch.
they could. I've seen like the original like Rankin Bass stuff, and
Yeah.
then I've seen the original trilogy. Well, not the sequel trilogy, and then the Hobbit trilogy that Peter Jackson did, and Five Armies really left a bad taste in my damn mouth.
Oh no, I feel you. I feel you. And Rings of Power has burned a lot of people too. But it's a fun watch.
I was excited for Rings of Power when it first started.
Hmm.
That excitement fizzled really freaking quick.
Yeah, I think. How do I put this? I think they bit off more than they could chew, and I think that um, the Tolkien family being so angry at Peter Jackson uh, hamstrung the show.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because Amazon was only able to license like part of it, which is why they're completely outside of, not outside of, but have separated from the story. The four people who read the Silmarillion know. I'm not one of those four people, by the way. Um, that's part of the
You probably
problem,
are one of those four people.
huh?
Yes, and you probably are one
I
of
am
those
not. I
four
am
people.
not. I couldn't get through Fellowship or Hobbit, so I'm not even trying the Silmarillion. Um, it then with part of the contract with Amazon is that the Tolkien estate required Amazon to not use What a Workshop, not utilize Peter Jackson, not utilize any of the music. So they basically had to start fresh on everything and couldn't even copy some of the looks. So they shot themselves in the
Wow.
foot, uh, quite spectacularly, in fact.
Well, evidently, because that show didn't last anywhere near as long as it I think was
Oh
planned
no,
to.
it's coming back for season 3.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Season 2 is a lot better than season 1. If you were able to get through season 1, season 2 is better.
Okay. I might try and force myself through season one so I can look at season two and see just how accurate you are. But yes, we definitely that is the plan, and the fact that um, well, one Jen's birthday is tomorrow, or by the time this episode actually officially drops, 2 days ago. So, and it is her birthday episode, so we need
Yeah,
to get that set up. And
we got to
I'm
get that done.
not
I, I'm gonna have to rewatch
because
that movie too. So give me some. This week is a train wreck coming up. But
yeah,
I need to
I know the
rewatch
feeling.
Half Blood Prince. It's been a while.
Yeah, I watched probably about 45 minutes of it the other day, and it's like, okay, it's been a while.
Yep.
So, but yes, we will get all that ironed out, and we will get you all the amazing listeners Jen's birthday episode as well. And once the queen of the Oscars gets back from her vacation to Jamaica, that I will keep my mouth shut over because if I jinx her again this year, I'll never hear the end of it. But we will figure out what we've got coming up in the next few weeks. But before we can even get to the future, we have to deal with the present and the fact that
Right.
um, if you guys weren't here for this morning's episode, and I mean, there was actually a lot of people that were here for that this morning, so we appreciate it greatly. But for those of you who don't know, Thursday it was announced that an all-time legendary, incredible actor and his wife and one of their dogs passed away in their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So many question marks hang over that it's freaking ridiculous right now. I have no idea what the hell's going on. But yes, for those of you who do not know, Gene Hackman, 95-year-old actor Gene Hackman passed away, or was found on Thursday. I don't know when he passed away, depending upon reports. It could be a couple of days, it could be 7 days, it could be 10 days. Who knows at this point? The tragedy has more question marks, almost more question marks over it than the goddamn Manson murders. So, but have you heard any of the latest quote unquote rumors floating around about said death?
No, it's I'm waiting until there's more of an official report as opposed to reading
That's the problem. Is I think
armchair quarterbacks and
yeah,
gossip people, and it's tragic regardless of what happened. And man, I'm gonna wait until everything is complete, because at this point it's just running the risk of tarnishing the legacy of a great actor.
and that's the because yeah, and that's what it is the internet has created a platform for people, and I'm just as guilty because I have my podcast, and myself and Amanda, our guests or whatever, we come on and we spew our thoughts and feelings and interpretations, and it is what it is. But all the stuff that's coming out in the last few days about um, Gene Hackman, nobody knows for 100% sure exactly what happened. I mean, was it carbon monoxide related? The fire department says no. Now all of a sudden it's coming back out that, well, carbon monoxide may have been involved. There may be foul play. All this, it's like, just conduct your investigation and let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Gene Hackman is one of my favorite actors of all time, and we talked very rev- relevantly about him for the better part of an hour and a half this morning when it came to Superman the movie, and we're going to talk very, you know, I would hope warmly about him for this movie as well. And he does not deserve to have his legacy tarnished because, with this movie, Superman, his library of work that he created over his entire career is wow. Birdcage, the John Grisham movies, everything. He's the awards he's won, not many people can say that they're a multiple time Academy Award winning actor.
Right.
He can, you know. So, but
I mean, how many actors, like, it's like a favorite athlete, right? You want to see the guy retire on top, and the dude basically did. You look at his last few credits, right? They're all
mhm,
bangers.
yeah, there. I know that there's probably some out there, but of his movies that he's done that I've seen, I can't recall one right off the top of my head that I absolutely hated.
And even if I didn't like the movie, I probably liked him in it.
Yeah, I typically The Birdcage is not one of my all-time favorite movies.
No, but he's
But
such a great
the
jackass in
way
that movie.
the way he played that senator,
Yeah,
almost freaking spot on perfect. It's like from the moment he walked into his first scene, it's almost like you could see the stick up his butt. You
right.
know, I'm staunch conservative and nothing's going to phase me. I have my, you know, super conservative beliefs, and but then he still played it to the when you get from that all the way to the other side of the arc where he evolves into something that he wasn't in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
It shows just how the range of talent that he has as an actor, and that's works in almost every movie that he's been in. I mean, there's people, I wager, the one to my left on my screen that don't particularly care for him in Superman as well. But
no, it's not that I didn't care for him in Superman. I, I'm just not a big fan of those movies. And again, nothing with him. It's just uh, those were not. I'm not a big fan of Superman to begin with. Actually, there's no version of Superman where I'm like, man, that was so great because he's a solar powered Boy Scout who bores the shit out of me. I thought Hackman was great as Lex. I just didn't want to have to rewatch Superman to be on the episode. Plus, I was busy. We don't recording anyway. But no, I'm just not a big fan of Superman.
which is understand that Superman fan, Superman and Batman fans are like Star Wars and Star Trek fans.
Oh God, you're
There are
right.
people that fall on one side of the equation and will not cross over to the other side. I honestly will say I'm not of that. And if you weren't here with us this morning, I did talk about the fact that, you know, I grew up watching both this movie and the Adam West TV series, so I have love and respect for both. And then growing up with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton and all of that,
Yeah,
I got kind of spoiled. But then you follow that up with Brandon Routh and all the garbage that came after. Oh dear Lord, it clusterfuck all over the place. But no, Gene Hackman is definitely he took that role and made Lex Luthor his own, even to
absolutely.
the even to the extent that um, Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville, speaks, respectfully of the fact that that was his main desire with that role was he wanted to do something that paid tribute to the work that Gene Hackman did and tried to be as respectful to the work that Gene Hackman did as possible so that, you know, it wasn't trashing on what had already been created to begin with.
Hmm.
So that right there goes to show you just how much respect the man had as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but we're not talking about Superman again. We're going to talk about a movie he did win an Academy Award for, which would be, as Chris's favorite podcaster said, her favorite Metallica song.
Was that her number one?
It was not her number 8, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there. Look,
I
I
already
can't
warned
get
her
mad at
that
anybody
joke.
rating the original Unforgiven song as their number one Metallica song. I can't get mad at that one. I can get mad at rating one number 8, but I can't get mad at rating Unforgiven 1.
Oh, she will never live down rating 1 number 8.
Well, when she admitted, oh, I didn't listen to much. I listened to like the first couple of minutes of each song. Okay, some of these tracks are like 9 minutes long. Get the fuck out. She should
One
have
is
seen
like
that one.
7 or 8 minutes long.
Yeah, she should have, just been a host and let the adults talk.
She could sit back and look pretty while the people who know what they're talking about talk.
Also, I'm going to need you to edit out that snippet and send it to
her. I can
Sammy
make
just
sure I
heard
can
what I
do
said.
that.
He's laughing in the background.
Whoa, I mean, that actually would be funny as hell to get her reaction to that as well. But so yeah, we're going to talk about the award-winning Western classic, Unforgiven. And for those of you who do not know, Unforgiven was released on August 7th, 1992. It was directed by some unknown celebrity by the name of Clint Eastwood. I have no idea who the hell that guy is. It was distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, had a budget of $14.4 million, made a whopping $159.2 million at the box office.
Ooh.
And would you like to wager a guess as to what the Rotten Tomato score for this award-winning movie is?
Let me get in first with fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes,
I'm gonna guess
always
since they love
Rotten Tomatoes.
shitting on older movies, I'm gonna say it's about a 72.
You're not even in the ballpark. They actually did not shit on this movie.
Really?
Both the tomato meter and the audience meter. Well, the tomato meter is 96%,
Wow.
and the audience meter is a whopping 93%.
I'm really happy to be horribly, horribly wrong on that one. Because Rotten
So am
Tomatoes
I.
has a really bad recency bias.
They really do, and Amanda does get on her soapbox about that too, where she will preach to the choir about how anything past like 2000 or older than 2000 generally does not get a favorable score on Rotten Tomatoes because of recency bias. Hello?
Yep. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thought you were still going
So
there.
part of the reason why we believe in fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
No,
Because
I was expecting them to shit all over this one because hasn't been a lot of great westerns in the last 20 years. The last great western was, in my mind, was probably Open Range, which takes a lot for me to say because we all know how much I love Costner. By that I mean I can't fucking stand Costner.
I was gonna say Amanda and I had an interesting discussion in text this morning about Costner.
Costner has three characters. He has sports guy Costner, and sports guy Costner movies are great. Western Costner, which is okay, and then everything else Costner,
which is not okay.
Which is not okay. Because unlike some Robin Hoods, he can't speak with an English accent.
Amanda's rolling over in her grave right now, and she's not even dead.
Okay, so. we should really do Costner month and just have me come in and shit on every non-sports guy Costner movie.
I'm okay with that. Well, there are some good Costner movies that I enjoy.
Amazing. Waterworld, utter shit.
Yeah, there's no in between with Costner movies
No,
Costner
either
movies
they're
are either
bangers or they're
good.
fucking trash.
I love Sports Guy Costner. I enjoyed Draft Day. I enjoyed, you know,
I mean,
Field of
Tin Cup's the only
Dreams.
watchable golf movie. Oh, sorry. There's two. There's two
Okay,
watchable golf
Tin,
movies.
Tin Cup and Happy Gilmore.
Those are the
But
two. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, other than that, I mean, but yeah, Bull Durham, For Love of the Game, all great movies. But then Waterworld,
Yeah.
garbage,
The Postman, double garbage.
garbage. It's like, and you don't get me started on the what was behind the scenes drama on fucking Yellowstone.
Right. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So there hasn't been a good modern western since Open Range, and I think that was 2000, right at 2000, give or take. And really,
Finish your thought. I
Unforgiven
will
to
Google.
me, Unforgiven to me, um, launched a really good string of modern westerns. Um, I'm not a big western fan, right? I can name 3 or 4 old westerns that I enjoyed,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of them are different versions of the War Wagon. Other than that, I mean, I'm not a big western fan. But somehow Clint Eastwood got together an amazing ensemble of both great actors
Well,
and amazing character actors. I mean, Saul
yes,
Rubinek's a goddamn national treasure. Um, it made a modern western that I don't want to say it doesn't feel like a western because it does, but it's aged really well, and everybody had a moment to shine in that movie, and he made it consumable
absolutely.
for a newer audience.
Well, yeah, it came out in what 92,
Yeah.
and by the way, Open Range came out in 2003.
Ooh, I was close.
Closer than you were on the Rotten Tomatoes
Hey,
score.
hey, I've never been so happy to be wrong on a Rotten Tomatoes score.
Well, no, because if you had been right on that Rotten Tomatoes score,
You'd have called me a cheater.
uh well, no, I'd been pissed off because this movie is not a 70% movie
Oh no, if I'd have
at
been right on
all.
the 72, yeah, no, I would have been pissed too. But I would have just continued on the rant of how much we hate Rotten Tomatoes around here.
Yes, because this, I agree with 100% everything that you said. I, again, I like you, am not a huge Western fan. I even posted something on social media like a week and a half ago, where I brought up the fact that, like, one of my all-time favorite Western movies is Young Guns, and that's not even.
Oh man, yeah, love those.
It's it Westerns meets the Brat Pack
Yeah,
rolled into
absolutely. I mean, it's a
one.
western because where it's placed, but it doesn't. It feels more like a not a buddy
Brat Pack
cop, but a
movie.
buddy bad guy movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, I guess in a way they were deputies in the first movie
I'm still going with
for
buddy bad
about
guy movie. Um,
20 minutes until they started Billy the Kid started doing his thing. But yeah,
great. I mean, American Outlaws was kind of fun with Colin Farrell, but still not a western.
that's the
Um,
problem. It's like some of the stuff that is recently came out. It's like
right?
it's not horrible, but there's elements of it that just feels weird,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
you don't you don't get that with Unforgiven. Like every part of this just seems like it fits together like a hand in a glove.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's some. I I didn't look. I'm guessing there's a director's cut out there because there's some time jumps that are kind of weird that I noticed yesterday when I rewatched that I didn't remember from watching it back in the day. But even
Yeah.
then, they're not so weird that they don't make sense.
No. Like
Um,
this movie can be kind of sort of choppy in that sense this movie isn't as choppy as the movie we talked about this morning. The original Superman is choppy as fuck,
Yeah, absolutely.
and there's big like portions of like it doesn't. I love that movie to death, but Amanda was right. It doesn't flow from one scene to the next the way it needs to flow.
And I looked up the runtime, and Unforgiven's 2 hours and 10 minutes at a time when going over 2 hours was like considered a death knell by the studios.
Yes.
So the fact that they let him go 2:10 is kind of amazing. So there's probably a good another 20, 30 minutes that should have been in the movie.
Which probably would have helped eliminate some of that choppiness.
But again, it's not
But
so bad that uh, that you don't know what's going on. It's just you're like,
no,
oh, we went from there to there. But story wise, you know what happened in between. You can fill it in without trying to figure out something. And the big one that
yeah,
stuck
as
out in
long
my mind was uh, Will's fever breaks and he's finally having coherent conversations with the victim, and then all of a sudden they've caught up to the cowboys and they're shooting at them. But at the same time, you understand what happened in between because they talked about what they were going to do.
yeah,
So even that big time jump is not that bad.
no, it's realistic. It's not that huge of a damn jump either.
Yeah,
But I mean, Clint Eastwood is one of those directors that I think he's very good at what he does,
absolutely.
and I think he had a clear vision for what he wanted for this
Hmm.
movie, and he, made some edits and whatnot, and removed some stuff. And I don't honestly feel like the stuff that he removed hurt this movie in any way, shape, or form. This
Oh,
movie,
I
like you
agree.
said, is north of 2 hours long, and it's a movie that, for me personally, when you start getting into the 2.5 hours, if it's going to be a bad movie, I'm usually, looking at my watch, trying to figure out how much time I've got left. When can I get the hell out the damn door because just boring the shit out of me. From the time the opening credits start, well, there isn't really opening credits, but the little prequel Star Wars prequel scroll thing at the beginning rolls to the credits rolling at the end, you know it moves right along. It doesn't
Yeah,
really slow down for the most part at any point.
and I think honestly that scroll at the beginning and at the end ties the story into a neat little bow.
Yeah,
Um,
well, because they could have gone back and actually filmed stuff from that to visually tie it all in,
yeah,
but I think that would have hurt the story in the long run.
yeah. I
I
don't
think
think
it
it
would
was
have bogged it
necessary.
down.
Yeah,
I think what they have on film for that 2 hours and 10 minutes works. If it ain't broke, don't fucking fix it.
100%.
And again, for me personally, I would say of the main actors in the movie, Gene Hackman is probably my favorite
Hmm.
in this movie. And that I'm not trying to take cheap shots at Clint Eastwood in this movie or Morgan Freeman or anybody else. It's just Gene Hackman is fucking amazing in this movie.
and
Now, one thing I've noticed
rightfully
about
him winning his Oscar is well deserved.
right, one of the things I've noticed with Clint Eastwood in the movies that he's directed that he's also in,
Mm.
he takes a bit of a backseat. Like William Money is almost he's not two dimensional, right? Because he's pretty well fleshed out, but the movie's
Yeah.
not about him, and so he doesn't put himself front and center for the whole dang thing. He understands that other people need to be front and center. And I have heard, and I don't want to go into it because, but I have watched clips of hilarious stories of the way he directs. He just tells the actors what he
Yeah.
wants, and he does things in very few takes because he just tells them what he wants, and they do the thing. Um,
Well, part of that is due to the fact that he is respected by so many people that he works with that they trust his vision and they know if they give him what he wants, then he will put together a visually inspiring, I wouldn't necessarily say masterpiece because not everything that he's done has been, A list material, but
right?
I could say the same thing about Spielberg or Cameron or
Oh, sure, yeah.
whoever.
But looking at the list of movies he directed, and unfortunately I don't have the list of which ones he's in and which ones he's not. But a lot of these he lets other people take the forefront.
Mhm.
Um, well, I never realized he directed Space Cowboys. Well done. Um,
Again, though, but I don't think he in Space Cowboys.
yeah, isn't he?
Okay, but proves your point though.
Yeah,
He doesn't command being front and center the entire freaking movie though either.
and I think that's one of the
The
reasons he's
rest of
able
the
to get
guys in that
such
movie are
great
allowed to do that.
casts.
Yeah, I agree
I,
100%.
I keep looking at the list of actors, the cast from Unforgiven, and it's like a who's who of either really good actors or really, really good character actors. Like I said, Saul Rubinek, national treasure. Anthony
Hmm.
James was amazing. Was a great character actor. You look at the whole cast, and it's just up and down
I was gonna say
a bunch of
you're
that guys
talking
that
about
you've
all.
recognized from.
Yeah, you may not know the name, but as soon as you see the guy's
Right.
face, you're gonna know exactly who it is.
Yeah.
And you're talking about these guys, but again, you haven't brought up Morgan Freeman. You haven't brought up Gene Hackman.
Right.
The people who are on the damn marquee next to Clint Eastwood's name.
Right. And man, that is some of the genius of the writing of the movie and the directing and the genius of Gene Hackman that there are scenes where you want to high five Little Bill for some of the things he does, and scenes where you want to punch him in the damn face.
Yeah,
And some of those scenes are the same.
because that's how brilliant of an actor Gene Hackman is, though.
Oh, 100%. 100%. He,
Even like Amanda said this morning, when you look at his performance in like The Firm, he plays that character who needs to be sleazy and slick and a dirtball and all of this, that, and the other thing. But yet there's still an element of humanity to that performance where you don't necessarily want to hate him and you
mhm,
do see a little bit of humanity in him. So that allows you that chance to grab onto and hold on to, well, hopefully, maybe, you know, shit won't go too far south for him. It does, but, you know,
was he just in
he,
every
he just,
bad Grisham movie? Although all Grisham movies are bad.
The Firm,
The Firm, The Chamber,
Runaway
and hold on,
Jury.
yeah, Runaway Jury. So 3 of them. He wasn't in the Pelican
I
Brief.
think
Also bad.
he wasn't in A Time to Kill either.
Only good one. Only good one.
Yes.
And mainly because of Oliver Platt.
Wait, you don't like Matthew McConaughey?
Oh no! I enjoyed the shit out of Matthew McConaughey in that movie, but Oliver Platt, I swear to God, was directly out of the book. Like he read the book and completely played the character from like the way I imagined him in my head as I was reading the book. That's how Oliver Platt played that character.
See, and I respect actors that are willing to actually, because
And I don't know if he actually did or not, but it sure as hell felt like it.
yes. See, and McConaughey said the same thing when he got cast to play the Man in Black for The Dark Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Was he actually went back and read the books because he wanted to try and get a good sense of what that character needed to be. Unfortunately, he was given a shit script and a shit director, and the movie fell flat on its freaking face. And I don't honestly feel like it fell on its face because of what McConaughey did. But and I won't blame Idris Elba for it either. But again, you know, if you're going to be a quality actor and bring a quality performance to the table, you have to have the right materials
Mm-hmm.
and tools to work with, and that
Yeah.
requires a good director, a good script, and luckily for Gene Hackman, bringing it back to where we're supposed to be, um, he has been fortunate enough. He's probably had some stinkers
Everybody
for
does.
directors and script. You especially to have nearly what 50 plus year career.
Yeah.
You're not going to have gold mines every time out.
Yeah.
Even Tom Hanks has had shit performances and
Yeah.
shit scripts and shit directors and all of it. I mean, it happens to the best of them. So you know what? Suck it up and get over it. But I was going somewhere with that statement. I don't remember where I was going, but so yeah. Was there anything you particularly did not feel like you could get on board with for this movie? Like, didn't like?
I felt like, and again, this is stuff that may have landed on the cutting room floor. I don't know, but I felt like Ned was just two-dimensional. Like the only thing you learn about Ned is that he's killed people with Bill before, and he doesn't mind cheating on his wife. That's it. That's all you really learn about Ned. And Morgan
Yeah,
Freeman's a better actor than that. And Morgan and I think honestly Eastwood gave him better direction than that. So I have this feeling that Ned's character development was cut for time, but with what we get to see, he's just set dressing at times.
I would say when it comes to Morgan Freeman that, and I think I would agree with what you're saying about some of his character development ended up on the cutting room floor because I've seen movies where Morgan Freeman played a very two-dimensional character and did it very well. I mean, in my own personal opinion, I feel like his performance in or his character in Shawshank Redemption was not necessarily 100%
Mm-hmm.
two-dimensional, but it wasn't very dimensional after, you know, it may have been like a 2.5 dimensional character, but
Yeah, they built Red up to a point, and then they were done with Red for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and most of that building was done in the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Which technically it wasn't really a story about Red per se. It was a story about Andy and his wrongful persecution.
Right.
But Red has an element, plays an element of, you know, developing in that story as well. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I could see how I I think the one thing I thought about during my rewatch, and maybe I'm a little bit off on it, but maybe it, so- it started to feel like this last time out. Maybe Clint Eastwood may have been a little bit too old, maybe per se,
Eh.
for
Yeah,
his
but I think
character.
that's kind of the
I
gist of
think,
the story.
yeah, that's why I'm kind of sort of on the fence about it. 'Cause, I mean, if he is, he's right on that freaking line of all of that.
The crazy thing is, he's the same age as Hackman. They were both born in 1930. It's just Eastwood Manistee City miles, I guess, because he looked way rougher than Hackman did, and they were the same age when that movie was made.
I am not gonna lie. I haven't seen Hackman pictures, recent pictures of him in a while.
I saw one a couple
But
years ago, and he looked like he was 90 something years old.
okay, that
But
would make sense. The last
Eastwood
time I
has
saw
looked like
pictures
he
of
was
him,
60 since he was 25.
true. Yeah, because even you go back and look at like the Leone, the Man with No Name trilogy,
Right.
and
You
yeah,
look at him from Rawhide, and he still looks older than he is.
true. He's a very grizzled old man.
Yeah, yeah. And he's adopted that. He's made that his own, and since he started playing the grizzled old man, he does it really, really well. Uh, God, I love Heartbreak
Yeah,
Ridge. Sorry.
no, I would say the same thing about even like Gran Torino though too.
Oh yeah, God, Gran Torino was so freaking good.
I I cannot believe in 4 years we haven't done more Clint Eastwood movies on the show because they're fun. They're not necessarily for everybody per se. Not everybody's going to be a fan of Clint Eastwood movies, but you know,
I'm down to
if you
do
like
any of
cop,
the Dirty Harry movies pretty much whenever.
yeah, I was just going to say if you love cop movies, Dirty Harry works.
Dirty Harry is the whole. I mean, there's not everything in that series is a banger, but it is so foundational for the modern cop movie, the modern cop persona. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, one of my favorite TV series of the past 20 years is Bosch, and there's a little bit of Dirty Harry and Harry Bosch. Not a whole lot, but there's a little bit in there. Also, Justified. There's a little bit of there's a lot of Dirty Harry in Raylan Givens.
yeah. I mean, I Dirty Harry is yeah. If there Dirty Harry walked, so everything cop wise afterwards could
Right.
run. Even you know your procedurals like Law and Order and all of that. There's still smaller elements of Dirty Harry, but there's still elements of Dirty Harry throughout most of your type
Yeah.
cop
And
type shows like that.
honestly, it's probably the most foundational series when it comes to shootouts until maybe Heat.
Yeah.
Okay, before we gush on
I
Clint Eastwood all night, which I could do, I want to take a good
we
second
we
to.
need. I would say we need to gush on Gene Hackman because
Well, I want to gush on one other guy, then we'll get back to the late great Gene Hackman. But first,
yeah,
I want to gush on the also late, also great Richard Harris. Um, English
Dumbledore.
Bob is such a fun character.
I love English Bob.
And, oh god, he's just so posh, and you can tell from the first second that he's utterly full of shit. And when he's run out of
Mhm.
town and he drops into the Cockney accent because he's just fucking done with everybody, is such a beautiful piece of character flip where you can tell that,
Uh-huh.
it's like they start chipping away at his character early, right?
Mhm.
And then we find out from Little Bill that everything that's in the book is bullshit. Well, not everything, but most of it's bullshit. And then English Bob cracks and comes to find out he's not as, posh as he's making himself out to be. That is such an awesome little, probably 10 minutes of screen time max character arc.
Mhm. But that just goes to show you just how talented the actors are during that moment in time on screen.
And whoever made the decision, whether it was Eastwood or Harris or some combination, to flip from the proper Downton Abbey accent to full on Cockney, fucking genius.
Yeah, it truly brings a lot to the table with that flip.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
So,
So back to the great, awesome Gene Hackman,
Mr. Hackman,
Mr.
Academy
Hackman,
Award winning,
2 time.
yes,
Uh,
French Connection and Forgiven.
well, those were what, 20 plus years apart? Right at 20?
Ooh, yeah, about that.
Um,
French Connection was early to mid 70s, and this was 92.
yeah. So, well, that's a career most people would be jealous of. Hell, I'm jealous of it. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, to have the French Connection that early in your career, and there's been a lot of greatness in between in that
yeah,
20-ish year
1971.
span.
So 21 years.
Okay, 21 years, and everything that came, everything, Superman, blah blah blah. But and yeah, granted, Superman 4 was, throw that shit in the garbage. But so much greatness has been dropped in his lap throughout time. It's
Yeah,
like we were talking
and he was
about
nominated for 3
his
other Oscars, one of which I thought he should have won. Um,
which one was that?
Mississippi Burning. I got to go see who beat him out.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man.
Uh there was one I read too where
Man, that one's hard to argue though.
oh, yeah, that was it was the list of awards that Unforgiven was nominated for, and it won Best Picture, it won Best Director, it won Best Supporting Actor, and I believe it was Best Editing. Go figure. And um, Eastwood was nominated for Best Actor, but ended up losing to Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman.
Again, man, that's hard to argue.
It because I remember watching a few of these Academy Award shows from this point in history, and I'm not even going to try and separate them all into the correct year, but you've got movies like Silence of the Lambs and Philadelphia and Forrest Gump and Unforgiven, Dances with Wolves, all this stuff that's being nominated and winning awards. You know, at times great movies are going to
Yeah. No,
bad metaphor, but something that Palpatine can relate to. When you have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs, only one team can win the Super Bowl.
and man, I was
That would
way
be
off on my Super Bowl prediction. I got the winner right, but man, they shut my boy Saquon down.
yeah, you and your 250 yards and
It was 175 with 2 touchdowns. I was
okay,
still way the
whatever the hell
flag
it
up.
was. Did he even? I
They
don't think he
sold
even
out to
got a
stop
touchdown,
Saquon
did
and
he?
forgot to play pass defense. Which okay,
No, because literally freaking Hurts freaking dropped back and picked them apart like there was no fucking tomorrow.
right? And Jake Elliott went from being really not good for most of the season to being clutch as hell in the Super Bowl. 7 for 7, only 4 of them
Go
counted because
figure.
of penalties. But
Yeah, but
yeah, but
yeah, I mean, you can have so many things competing against each other though, and only one can win at the end of the night.
yeah, and that just happens sometimes where you run into a juggernaut of a movie. Uh, okay, yeah, so, whew, so that year, best actor in a leading role. You ready?
Okay.
Nominees. So we know we got Pacino for Son of a Woman,
Yeah.
Eastwood for Unforgiven.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's hard enough. Robert Downey Jr. for Chaplin, Stephen
Which
Rea
was
for The Crying Game, and Denzel for Malcolm X.
I could make arguments for any one of those 5 people
Yeah.
winning.
Um,
And most of
hell,
those
Hackman beat out Nicholson and Pacino for best supporting role.
what was Nicholson nominated
A Few Good
for?
Men.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, how do you?
oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn. That just knocked me on my ass.
yeah. Trying to find who all they beat out for best movie. Oh Jesus. Okay, best movie nominees for 1992: Unforgiven, The Crying Game, A Few Good Men, Howard's End, and Scent of a Woman. I'm glad I wasn't having to, vote for any of that because I don't know what I pick.
I I can say right now what I'd probably vote for, but at the same time, in the heat of the moment, then
Right?
it would be hard to differentiate between the 5.
Yeah. Howard's End is so underrated.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's just so great.
A Few Good Men is a classic.
Oh God, A Few Good
Freaking
Men's amazing.
Unforgiven is great. Crying Game, wow.
Yeah, I
That
mean
floors
that's
me.
just that's a
Well, and you
buzzsaw
look at the other
of
side. Okay, Malcolm X wasn't even nominated for Best
yeah.
Picture
Malcolm X didn't make the cut, which is insane.
because that was a great movie as well. On top of it, so
Okay, what the fuck?
to me,
like the
Sorry, no, I
early to
thought
mid
Best
'90s.
Effects and Death Becomes Her beat Alien 3, shit movie, good effects, and Batman Returns. Again, shit movie, good effects.
Batman Returns was not the best of the two Burton movies.
Oh, Death Becomes Her, shit movie, okay effects.
Yeah, but like I was gonna say, early to mid '90s, late '80s, early '90s, mid '90s was like to me the heyday for Academy Awards because there was a lot of amazing, incredible movies that were getting nominated and winning that damn award.
Yeah.
Whether it's Big, Rain Man, Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington, Glory, what it's Unforgiven, Dances with Wolves, Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster. It was a who's who of award wins during those years. And I'm not trying to shit on those before, and I'm not trying to shit on the stuff that came more recently, but just wow. And there's even people that have gone on record as saying that if they could go back in time, they probably would vote for Shawshank to win the Academy Award instead of Forrest Gump for Best Picture.
I think Forrest Gump's overrated as shit. I'm sorry. I just think it's overrated.
To each their own, but
it's 3.5 hours of Ginny doing house shit. I just
don't tell Killer that. She will kill you.
Hold on. At Amanda. Not supposed to tell you that Forrest motherfucking Gump is 3+ hours of Janae doing house shit.
Oh God! If she does not have her phone on mute, which I can guarantee you she won't.
Nope, she saw it. Mission accomplished.
Oh Lord, we're almost gonna have to drag this out now. She's already got 3 dots of doom. Please don't get me started, LMAO.
Oh, but she's about to get started. Oh. Sometimes you just gotta poke the killer. She was a traumatized human. Okay, we're all fucking damaged.
That doesn't excuse you being a hoe.
Right? That doesn't give you permission to treat people like utter shit while doing hoe
Especially
shit.
people that you clearly know are not all there upstairs. So
Anyway, sorry. Back
if
to
you were
the great Gene
no,
Hackman.
yeah,
God
his performance in this movie, though, I mean, like you were saying earlier, there's points in this movie where you want to punch him in the face. There's also times where you know you can sympathize with him, and he comes across as being a great guy. And to even amplify that, you said there's even points where those moments come together at the same point on
right?
screen. You know,
it just speaks volumes to how great of an actor that man was, and
Oh god, and the look on
it
his
sucks
face
to
and
say
just
was too.
the body language when Beauchamp says maybe you should hang the carpenter. And you
Right?
see this mixed emotion of I'm going to beat your ass for that, and you're kind of right.
Yeah.
And just being able to convey that with facial expression and body language was amazing.
Oh shit. No, exactly. And wow, I did. There's so many praises that you can give him. It's hard to just find the right words because it feels like anything that comes out of your mouth just isn't good enough,
Right.
honestly.
He had that gruff, gravelly voice, and yet he still was able to convey more emotions than just anger.
Yeah.
In so many roles, and he was able to draw you in as a complete actor. Um, I unfortunately I don't think I've ever seen any stories people talking about being with on him on set. Uh, but I get the feeling that he was one of those guys that completely immersed himself into a role, not quite to the point of character acting because those people are just weird. Um, but immersed himself into a role and enjoyed the process. I can't hear you, Casey.
Okay, now.
There we go.
Okay. So Costner and Hackman were doing No Way Out, and they had been doing a lot of scenes around a desk together. And Costner said it just wasn't working for him anymore. So he wanted to get up and move his position to a different point on the set. And the director wasn't having it. And Costner put his foot down and said, "No, I feel like blah, 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 blah." And Gene's sitting over here at, the desk, and he's not really chiming in or saying anything. But yet, at the end of the day, they got up to, they went, out to the cars to go home, and Gene saw Kevin, and he like waved him over, and Kevin came over, and he's like, Kevin thought he was going to get, ripped a new one because, you know, it's the great Gene Hackman, and he's Costner's still very young-ish in his career, but he's like, Gene praised me for standing up for what I believe in and all of that, and he just he was immersed in that, and he wasn't going to let the outside stuff mess with that. His character was not involved in that, and that needed to stay out. And he was so focused and ready to do his job and deliver the performance that he needed to deliver. That's the kind of actor that I've always imagined Gene Hackman as being.
Yeah.
Whether he's playing a lawyer, playing a superhero bad guy, or you know a sheriff in the old west, or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
So, if you were to give give Unforgiven a rating out of 5, hoping you got something up your sleeve for this one.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too into my normal range for picking a rating, as I want to give this movie the respect it deserves, and I want to give Gene Hackman the respect he deserves.
Because he deserves it.
100%, 100%. And again, Mr. Hackman, way to go out on top. Last movie credit was 20 years ago, 21 years ago now, and it was, the last several were all good. So the man knew when to call it a career. But I'm going to give Unforgiven 5 out of 5 ducks of death.
I can't go anything lower than 5 out of 5 either. And I'm and I feel like anything else, and I'm not poo-pooing on, Chris's rating scale either, but I feel like 5 out of 5 stars because of the legendary epic career that Mr. Hackman had.
Yeah.
Is worthy enough for the moment. So, but yeah, something else I had found too while I was doing my research and putting everything together for this was in 2004, Unforgiven was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being
Wow.
deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. The film was remade in 2013 into a Japanese film, also titled Unforgiven, which stars Ken Watanabe
Oh.
and changes the setting the early to an early Asian era in Japan. Eastwood has long asserted that the film would be his last traditional Western, concerned that any future projects would simply rehash previous plot lines or imitate someone else's work. So,
I fucking love Ken Watanabe.
again, underrated actor as well. And he's one of those ones that, unless you're a huge fan, you may not necessarily recognize the name. But I can guarantee you, if you saw the face, you would know exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
man, I could go down a list of movies that I loved him in.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got to find this remake of Unforgiven now.
I did not even know that it had been remade. Honestly, I thought everybody was afraid of touching anything Clint Eastwood because if they did, he'd show up and ask them if they felt lucky.
Right? Well, I mean, it works being as so many westerns are remakes of older Japanese movies. The Magnificent Seven.
Paybacks are a bit. Yeah. Seven
And
Samurai.
the reason why Seven Samurai is called Seven Samurai in the English speaking world is because in Japanese it's the Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Asian cinema and Western cinema have been stealing from each other for years. So it's fun to see that type of back and forth.
Oh, and even Lucas has said that he ripped off Star Wars from aspects of Asian cinema as well.
Oh yeah, no. Lucas delved deeply into old cinema and mythology to come up with Star Wars, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, at this point, I mean, sci-fi to an extent steals from some combination of Star Trek, Star Wars, Asimov, Heinlein. Some combination of those. And even Star Trek and Star Wars steal from Asimov and Heinlein. Everything fantasy at some point is traced back to Tolkien, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. It's not. I'm not trying to dog on anybody at all.
No, not at all. Even the great Stephen King has said he's drawn from various different writers for developing his own style. So,
oh yeah,
you know,
and Stephen King's one of the most prolific writers of the 20th century. I'm not even a huge fan because I'm not a horror guy, but the man's catalog is insane.
80-something books and how many billions of dollars?
Well, and how many short stories and how many other things he's contributed to.
Yeah.
Do you know he created the G.I. Joe character?
Really?
Yep. His son was a huge G.I. Joe fan, so he reached out to the guys in Rhode Island and helped him create a character. Wrote the file card and everything. Yep.
Damn. The thing that baffles me though about the man is all the books and shit that he sold and all the money he's made throughout his entire career are all going to pale in comparison to 15 minutes after he dies. How much his books are going to freaking go through the freaking roof and start selling for on Amazon and eBay and all that shit.
Yeah, the collector's editions and other things are just gonna skyrocket, and anything autographed is just gonna go up. And unfortunately, that's the way anytime a celebrity dies, and it's fucking unfortunate.
It's all one big freaking cash grab. So, but before we wrap
there's
up
two
the
ends to that,
episode,
right? There's people going for the cash grab, and the
yeah.
people willing to pay for the cash grab. So,
Oh no, because you wouldn't have the cash grab unless people were willing to shell out the damn money, though. Too.
exactly.
So you've got one hand is wrong, and you have the other hand that's just as wrong. So we can complain about one, but you have to freaking put some of the blame at the feet of the other person as well.
Yep.
So before we wrap up the episode, though, we cannot do so without thanking the listeners for being here each and every week. You guys are incredibly amazing. I love you guys to death. You guys are a huge part of the success that we're finding the last several months on the show. We appreciate you guys. We love you. We hope you come back each and every week. Do you have anything coming up on One Paintball?
I do have a new episode in the pipeline for One Step. I'll be recording this week with John Hubbard of Avid Extreme Sports and a former semi-pro player from the great state of Oklahoma. So look forward to that episode soon. And then I've got some other stuff in the works, talking to some tournament promoters and some other people, and a personal announcement on the paintball front coming soon. So stay tuned for that.
Are you sure you want to use that adjective for the state of Oklahoma?
Yeah, we're gonna go with
that. Because I could probably count on one hand the great things in Oklahoma, and one of them is Cassandra, one of them is Papa Palpatine, one of them is Squatch, one of them is Gene, and
onion burgers.
Okay. And
really great
not
steak.
The Thunder.
100% the Oklahoma City, the Western Conference leading Oklahoma City Thunder. Although,
we'll
and it's not
revisit
just
this
the NBA,
conversation.
it's every fucking professional sports league, right? When a team relocates, they never redo the freaking divisions.
True.
So the Thunder are still in the Northwest Division, which makes no damn sense. It's worse than the NFC East, which actually got better when they redid it. But the NFC East, you have Philly and New York and Washington and Dallas. It used to be, and then Arizona, but now it's just those four. And I don't even know who's in the Northwest Division for the NBA, but it's like the Timberwolves and the Trailblazers, and I think the Jazz, and then OKC. Seriously, guys, when teams move, redo the freaking divisions.
I'm hoping Adam Silver craps or gets off the pot really soon and adds at least one, maybe two new teams to the Northwest Division.
They're gonna have to redo the bracket, the divisions if they do that. But I think the NBA's got room to expand. I think there's a bunch of guys stuck in the G League right now that could actually do well, or on the end of benches right now that could do well as starters in other teams. And I think no, and I think that I don't know the state of the current NBA television contract, but I think with their next big contract, they're going to have enough revenue to expand again, and I think they should. 30 is not enough. I think 32, which is what the NFL has, and I think Major League Baseball is at that.
Yeah,
is about the right number. I think 30 is too few. I think we could definitely use another team in each conference in the NBA. And if that means removing somebody from the Western to the Eastern Conference just to rebalance things, fine, whatever.
I was going to say, because the two teams that they're rumored to be looking at expanding with would probably both fall in the Western Conference.
Seattle and whom else?
Vegas.
We got a chance of relocating to Vegas. And don't get me started on professional leagues and sucking up to gamblers right now.
Well, it's the team that LeBron wants to retire and buy.
Yeah, I'll let him.
LeBron gets what LeBron wants. Ooh, I've got a leg injury. I need to sit out of the All-Star game.
Which, I have no problem setting up the All-Star game. It's just don't do it last minute. Let somebody else play. That's my only thing on that one. Is unless it's a last-second injury, which is not what happened here. But if it had happened that way, fine. But if you decide a day or two out you're not playing it, man, make the phone call. Let somebody else play it.
Yeah. No, he legitimately could have done that. He
didn't. And to me, that's the tragedy of what he pulled this year at the All-Star game. Not playing it. It's a meaningless game, meaningless tournament, right? If you want to skip it, cool. Nobody gives a shit. But, well, except for Moody fans. But
that's what All-Star games have become, is meaningless exhibitions that don't mean anything unless you're playing in the Four Nations.
Yeah, but why risk injuring yourself in a game that's not going to do anything?
I don't know. Ask the U.S. and Canada in the first 90 seconds of that damn hockey game.
Okay, and let's
as soon
not
as they
pretend
friggin' dropped the puck, they started throwing punches.
I know, but that's the exception and not the rule. The Pro Bowl's been a joke for 25 years, right?
Oh yeah.
The Major League Baseball All-Star game is an exhibition of let's not burn up anybody's pitchers and let's get out of here without too much of a kerfuffle. The NBA All-Star game,
the NBA All-Star
tournament, is let's see how high we can run up the score because ain't nobody playing defense. And hockey, until the last couple of years, has been let's not get anybody hurt and let's play every goalie possible so we're not burning those guys up. The Four Nations is an outlier.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Four Nations, but I'm also new to being a hockey fan as well. So
yeah,
I'm still learning.
My abs are so bad right now, I'm not even paying attention anymore.
they're still nowhere near as bad as my Kraken.
I
So
mean,
I don't want to hear it.
they're not that bad. They're that bad. They're fourth in the Central Division, so they're pretty far down in the playoff standings.
Your Avs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where am I Kraken at?
Bucking for really good draft picks.
Exactly. Hence the reason why I said you guys can have Groovy back.
No. I told you he was tricky as shit. I told you when they signed him, but you're like, oh, we got your goalie. I told you he was streaky as shit. You didn't listen.
He had the one good year and
got paid for it. Good for him.
Paid for it. Now we're reaping the benefits.
Uh-huh.
So,
so the Avs are in seventh, but they're only 8 points behind the 8 points behind Vegas. So they're not. It's just the Western Conference is really tight. First to eighth is separated by 12 points.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Eastern Conference, first to eighth is separated by 15. That's still pretty tight. That's going to be a fun little push.
It's going to be an interesting 6 or 7 weeks till they hit the end of the season.
Unlike the Thunder, who are up by 10 games with 20 to go. 23 to go.
To steal a phrase from Kylie Kelsey, my headset just cut out.
I don't think I ever heard Kylie say that.
It was in reference to Travis asking if she would let him watch kids while she went to the store unsupervised.
That's hilarious. Well, so the Thunder and the Spurs are playing, and there's absolutely no defense being played right now.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Well, normally the Thunder play pretty good defense, but not tonight. Hey, man, how about the Spurs still fighting after losing Wimby for the season?
True. That would have been an easy.
And their coach, like Pop, is out for the season too.
Yeah, I don't think Pop's coming back.
I thought Pop was, because for the longest time Pop said he was there until Duncan retired, and then he stuck around after Duncan retired. And I'm like, bro,
just hang it up and
you're a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Like, if they wanted to give him eligibility early, I'd be okay with that too. I mean, the man should go into the Hall of Fame as a coach and an executive.
Yeah. At the end of the day, San Antonio does not have their championships without Greg Popovich.
No.
I don't care how
as
good
a coach and an
Tony
exec.
Parker and yeah, I don't care how good Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and all those guys were. No, I would say the same thing about the 91 to 93 and 96 to 98 Chicago Bulls too.
Oh yeah,
Jordan
they don't win the
Pippen
6 without Phil Jackson.
Aren't winning without Phil Jackson, because most of those guys were there in the Doug Collins era and didn't win a championship there either.
Right.
Well, I mean, you had a younger Celtics team and the Detroit Bad Boys as well.
Right. Part of that was learning how to get past the Bad Boys. Part of that was the Bad Boys finally having age catch up with them. And part of that was the rules changing ever so slightly to where the Bad Boys couldn't do some of the stuff they did.
True.
But yeah, if not for Phil Jackson and Tex, what's his name, that actually came up with the triangle offense, I don't. Jordan still gets some rings, but he doesn't get 2 3-peats. I don't think.
No, and especially after coming back off of a year and a half playing baseball.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Coming up on an evening at the movies, we've got some stuff. Like we said, we've got Jen's birthday episode coming up at some point when we can get everybody on the same page and everybody can get the Half Blood Prince watched sooner rather than later, hopefully. We will have our very first horror movie of the month this month as well, where Amanda, myself, and Josh from Toontastic Journeys and Lawana will be here to discuss Heretic. And we've got some other stuff coming up. You can find us on the social medias and stay updated. That's probably the easiest way because nothing's really set in stone right now. But this was absolutely 100% fun, except for the fact that we um, regretfully are paying tribute to somebody who is no longer with us. So, but definitely 100%. Rest in peace, Mr. Hackman. You brought us years of enjoyment and pleasure, and you will be greatly missed. With all of that said, we will be back next week, hopefully in some way, shape, or form. Um, Again, like I said, not sure who's going to be here with me, what we'll be talking about, but we will find something to talk about next week. And in the meanwhile, we hope you guys all come back for an evening at the movies. Have a good week, guys.